it flips to a daze. So, we have an insectile aberration.
Cool trick.
Jeff Goldblum is online.
All right, well,
Do you kids get that reference? Do you get that reference?
I didn't want to say anything.
Bloody did not get the reference. She was too young.
I also don't get the
You don't
reference.
get Jeff Goldblum was the Fly.
In Independence Day.
What's up? It's Shuffle Up and Play. Today, 6 Legacy decks, 3 rounds, 2 players. It's the Legacy Gauntlet. I have asked each of our guests to bring 3 Legacy decks from their collection, but I will select which decks will be played against each other. Round 1. Each round, a deck will be eliminated, and we must choose from your remaining decks. But of course, as I said, I want these decks to be for round 1. Who do we have with us here today?
Hey, thanks for having me. My name's Anuraag. You can call me Anu. I stream a lot of Legacy on Twitch, and I like to do paper coverage from time to time as well.
And take a peek at what deck I selected for you, Anu.
Ugh.
Of yours. I liked this look of this.
Well, this is my commander deck. I've got Yorion, the Sky Nomad, as my first deck. Now, for people from the Legacy community, you might know I happen to be something of a Death and Taxes master. So I'm basically playing a white weenie control deck featuring some of the best cards in all of Magic's history, like Mother of Runes, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. The joke is, creature combat is not my forte.
All right.
Let's get to it.
I very much wanted to see you on this deck.
And I'm Brian Coval, aka BoshNRoll. You can find me on YouTube and hosting the Eternal Glory podcast. I do non-rotating constructed Magic 5 days a week.
Legacy is your thing? Well, which of your Legacy decks did I select for you? You could probably recognize it by the deck box.
Yeah, let's find out.
And we did have our staff look over the lists and discuss what we think would be a good round 1 matchup. After that, it's chaos. After that, they get to pick.
Obviously, you would choose 8 cast.
What is the difference between 8 cast and 8 post?
8 cast is named after the card Thoughtcast, which has affinity for artifacts and lets you draw 2 cards for 1 blue mana.
I know that from Pauper Affinity, which runs it in its much more powerful Affinity deck, because we all know Pauper decks are more powerful than Legacy decks.
It's pretty close.
We run cards that are banned in Legacy in our Pauper decks, so, you know. But anyway, yes.
Yes, Thoughtcast legal in Pauper, Thought Monitor is not.
Well, shall we roll to see who goes first?
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh, Vegas, here I come.
8.
Okay.
Solid.
Better than average?
Oh! There you go.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
All right. That's pretty good. Will you be on the player draw against Death and Taxes?
I'd like to be on the play. This is Legacy.
All right. Shall we resolve mulligans?
Let's do that.
You're gonna need to. That is a freshly sleeved deck.
Yeah, this is gonna take a hot second. So.
Yeah, all right. You probably want to shuffle all of it together, I would think. Are you sure this is not a commander deck?
It's what I thought, because when I was sleeving it up, I literally said I
said Legacy, not Commander. I said I'd like you on a Legacy episode.
I was trying to keep it flavorful.
Yeah. Do either of you play Commander, or are you just like, no?
I love Commander.
You love Commander?
Yep, absolutely.
Something. This guy won a couple tournaments too, I've heard.
Oh, did you?
Played in 2 CEDH tournaments, and I have finished first place in 2 CEDH tournaments. It was Timna Crom, the blue farm, all the best cards that aren't green are in the same deck.
Are there best cards that aren't green?
Thought Orakel's pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard
If you've heard of that one.
Well, Merfolk are OP.
The format is largely defined by a Merfolk, so I think you'd like it.
Wow.
Yeah? Wow good or wow bad?
Wow.
Oh, right. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll let you know something. I am actually hailed as a Death and Taxes expert across the community. I am very good at attacking with my Snapcaster mages into not summoning sick Mother of Runes. Don't do that, by the way. I've learned the hard way, yes.
People redeem Twitch points on Anu's stream to make him play Death and Taxes, a deck that he is notoriously awful with.
And for the record, when we say points, it was 1,000,000 points, and it actually happened after like 2 or 3 years of just waiting, and it just
full honesty. I had to redeem 5 million points just to force Anu to do this on round 1.
Yeah, Prof's been hanging out in the
Yeah.
OnZD Twitch
I
chat
have been
a lot lately.
farming those points. Woo! Link in the description.
I am going to keep my hand.
All right, no mulligans. So my understanding from people who have never played Legacy is that this is a turn 1, turn 2 format, so this should be very fast, I assume.
That is generally not true.
Why would some person, some rando on Reddit who never played Legacy be wrong about Legacy?
There's a lot of just vibes, bad vibes out there, confused vibes. You know what format is significantly more broken than Legacy?
Commander.
Commander. Commander is busted to the point where you need a whole set of social rules about what's okay to put in your deck and not, separate from the actual banned cards. And we're all used to that as Commander players, but Legacy, it's kind of like in The Simpsons where Mr. Burns has every disease, so they're canceling each other out and they can't all get through the door at the same time. That's what Legacy is. We have the most powerful threats. We also have the most powerful answers, and you get to play up to 4 of them rather than just one somewhere in your 100 cards.
There are a lot of checks and balances in this format, and I hope we get to see some of them later on.
I hope we get to see some of them right now. Begin.
All right. I have a basic island to start, and I have Lotus Petal. This is like a treasure, except you have to put it in your deck. It doesn't just come for free attached to every card that gets printed. It's from 1997. They didn't know at the time.
Seems mid.
Right, yeah, absolutely mid. I'm gonna do a cool trick here where I'm going to announce Emery, Lurker of the Lock. She costs 1 less for each artifact I control. As long as Lotus Petal's in play, she costs 2. So I can announce my spell and then sacrifice my Lotus Petal and tap my land to get Emery onto the stack.
Welcome to Legacy. Let's go.
There we go.
Immediately, a weird little rules wiggle.
But since it is Legacy, any responses?
I allow it.
All right. Emery, Lurker of the Lock. When she enters the battlefield, you mill 4 cards. I will mill 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got an Ottawara Soaring City, Seat of the Synod, another Lotus Petal, and a Chalice of the Void in the graveyard.
Ooh, yikes.
Emery has the ability to tap once per turn and allow me to cast an artifact out of my graveyard. And that's what I've got for my first turn.
All right, well, I'm gonna draw for turn. And I'm gonna play a Prismatic Vista here. Pay 1 life, fetch a basic Plains, and then I will cast an Aether Vial. An Aether Vial is one of the iconic cards for any sort of tribal strategy. I mean, it's been in Magic for so long. Basically, this is the way I'm going to get creatures into play without paying their mana costs, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here in this format, right? Use our mana as effectively as possible.
It's in both my Legacy and Modern Merfolk decks.
There you go.
Yeah, people talk about broken Legacy cards like Dark Ritual. Aether Vial makes more mana than Dark Ritual does over the course of most games where it's involved. We don't think about Vial the same because it's not quite as flashy, but this card is extremely powerful. I have no responses to Aether Vial.
Awesome. All right, so Aether Vial is in play, and what I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna put a dice here on top of my deck, just as a handy way to never forget my Aether Vial triggers. Even the best of us gotta have the easy ways to remember. So.
Now, did you see that trick from my 7-year-old video, Life Hacks for Magic the Gathering, where I did actually say that when you have an upkeep trigger or scry effect, that putting a die there makes it very unlikely that you will forget that effect?
This is a very helpful tip. There are so many triggers in Legacy especially. You never want to be caught forgetting one, so highly recommend it.
My video, you mean?
But yes,
Yes.
of course.
You're never too cool to play the game correctly. It is not embarrassing to mark your deck to remind yourself of your triggers.
All right, that's it for me. Go ahead.
All right, I'll untap my cards and draw for the turn. I'm gonna start by activating Emery.
Uh-oh.
She lets me cast target artifact in my graveyard this turn, and I'm gonna go for that Lotus Petal.
Am I dead?
That's not how this deck works.
I was right, it wasn't. I mean, that person on Reddit, that it wasn't me, was right. It is a turn 2 format.
Yes, turn 2, I've produced a mana source by tapping a creature I invested a lot of stuff in.
Broken!
Yeah, broken. I'm gonna cast a Pithing Needle. This is a 1 mana artifact that when it enters battlefield, I get to name a card, and activated abilities of the named card cannot be activated. Do you have any important activated abilities, perhaps in your deck or that you kept your opening hand based on?
I would never lie to you, Bosh. I do not. No, not at all. I just want to clarify, I would never lie to you.
There's no better thing. I'll just name the Aether Vial because that's what you have.
Can they edit in like a single tear just falling down my face right now?
Editor, go ahead, editor. Single tier.
I'm also going to use my Lotus Petal for 1 blue mana to play an Aether Spell Bomb. 1 mana artifact, I can pay a blue and sacrifice it to return target creature to its owner's hand, or I can pay a colorless and sacrifice it to draw a card. And that's my turn.
All right, untap. Upkeep, I'm gonna remember my trigger, so I'm gonna go ahead and tick up my Vial to 1. Even though the Pithing Needle is in play, Vial still does have that triggered ability on every upkeep.
You wouldn't remove my Pithing Needle, would you? Why do we need to worry about Aether Vial? Just leave it on 0.
All I said is I'm not a liar.
Oh no.
Draw for turn. Let's start with a card that maybe EDH players know very well. How about a Caracas? I mean, Caracas obviously banned in EDH for reasons we don't need to explain. What isn't banned in EDH is my turn 2 Spirit of the Labyrinth. So the enchantment creature, and it says each player can't draw more than 1 card each turn. So I know you definitely wouldn't be trying to do that in your Thoughtcast, Thought Monitor, Mishra's Bauble, Emery deck. This is on the stack. Does it resolve?
Listen, we need to have a conversation right now because my deck is built around legendary creatures, of which I kept my hand on the strength of. And you may have noticed I didn't play a land last turn. I'm really counting on this Emery for mana. And you played a Caracas, and I was already stressed out. And then you played a card against my deck that the whole point is to draw lots of cards in a turn. And I'm gonna have to do something about this one way or another. This is...
Well, you're tapped out, so I don't know what you could possibly do.
Yeah, certainly there's nothing in the Legacy card pool that could happen for 0 mana in a situation like this. I'm gonna cast Force of Will, which conveniently has the alternate casting cost of lose a life, exile a blue card from your hand. The flavor of which is, through sheer force of will, I'm gonna rip apart my brain and my physical body to say no to this thing, even though I don't have the resources to do that. And I'll be exiling another Emery.
Does that Force of Will resolve?
In my mono-white-esque
Oh, that's
deck,
right, mono-white.
I might not have an answer to that. You got lucky this time, but maybe Spirit will be back later. All right, Force of Will resolves. My Spirit goes to the graveyard.
I lose 1 life for my Force of Will. I'm
Okay,
at
so
19.
there are costs to this card then.
What a cost.
Body and brain torn to shreds.
That's it for me. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see if I can use Emery one more time this game. I'll draw for turn. I'm gonna start with Mox Opal. This one is named after the original Alpha Moxen for its ability to tap for 1 mana, even though it costs 0. Pretty messed up. It can tap for any color as long as I have 3 total artifacts in play, which is, yes, correct.
Powerful.
Yes, we did it. And now the hard part. I'm gonna use Emery to target that Lotus Petal again and cast it from my graveyard. And then I'm going to announce Thought Monitor, which is a 7 mana card, but it has affinity for artifacts, so it costs 1 less for each artifact I control. 1, 2, 3. And now Thought Monitor's on the stack. This is a 2/2 flying creature that will draw 2 cards when it comes into play.
You just played a 7 mana spell with 1 land.
It's true. It's turn 3.
But also, you just played a 7 mana spell for a 2/2. I expected a lot more from Legacy.
Well, there's 2 cards coming.
All right, I mean, that's...
You got it, yeah.
All right, I'll draw my 2 cards. 1, 2. And unfortunately, the party's over. I'm just gonna have to take that medium turn the way it came.
I'm gonna go ahead and untap. I'm gonna remember my Aether Vial trigger, so this is gonna go up to... This is gonna
3.
go up to 2. Yeah. And then I'm gonna draw for turn, put the dice back here so I don't forget. Diligence is very key. And now it's my turn to have some fun. So you started off turn 2 pretty aggressively with that Pithing Needle on my Aether Vial. I'm gonna go play a Plains, and I'm tap all my mana for a Skyclave Apparition. So this is a pretty cool card, and it's almost like an Oblivion Ring attached to a creature. So when it ETBs, I get to exile 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control. So I'm gonna go for this Pithing Needle. When Skyclave Apparition goes away, you will get a 1/1 illusion, but that Pithing Needle I'm hoping is gone for good. Does this resolve?
Can I convince you to exile Emery instead? She's been doing a lot of work.
Sidebar, Prof, what do you think?
I think you want to get that Pithing Needle.
Sorry, gonna go for the Pithing Needle.
Also, I read what Caracas does.
I've been outvoted.
You know, reading the card explains the card.
Powerful
So,
technology.
Yes.
That's it for me.
I'll start my turn with fewer resources than I'd hoped, and now I have to face down an Aether Vial. We've already seen Spirit of the Labyrinth. There's another card that was recently invented that also hurts me when you have 2 mana.
Mum's the word. Poker face. Can't read anything.
I would prefer a mum in play to what I'm actually worried about here.
What do you mean recently? Like, this is Legacy. I assume everything's old in Legacy and that new cards just don't see play in Legacy, right? Like, you're not gonna see cards from the last several years in a Legacy deck, except for like 1 rare exception, right?
Hardly. Many of the cards in the deck I'm playing, Emery, relatively new to the scope of the format. Thought Monitor, relatively new to the scope of the format. Mox Opal's probably somewhere in the middle at this point.
No, that's old. I'm sorry, everyone, but Mox Opal is old, and so are you.
It's true. At Eternal Weekend a couple years ago, I needed an Orzhov Pontiff for my deck. That's a rare from Guild Pact.
Yeah.
A set that came out in 2004, maybe 2005. And when I asked a vendor for it, he said, we didn't bring any new cards. That's a true story.
Most of our audience had not yet been born.
Yes, yeah. That's the legacy experience. Okay, I have a turn to take.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna use Emery, Lurker of the Lock, and target my Lotus Petal once again. This Birds of Paradise that I played on turn 1 continues going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. That is the requisite number for me to put Thoughtcast on the stack. That's like Thought Monitor, but it's not a 2/2, and it only costs 5 instead of 7. It's a sorcery that's gonna draw me 2 cards for 1 blue mana.
Flashin' Orcish Bowmasters, come on.
I guess that tells a lot about my hand. The Thoughtcast does resolve.
That's exactly what I was worried about, and I'm glad we got away with this one. 2 cards to my hand.
He already said it's mono white, so. Or mostly one?
Mostly white, yeah, mostly white.
Mono
exactly.
white-ish.
Why would a deck that only needs basic white mana play a fetch land? I'm suspicious.
Deck thinning, casual commander players insist again and again in my comment section.
I love shuffling my 80-card double sleeve Yorion commander deck.
He would not pick up this deck more than he needs to. And there's another color in there, and I've yet to see what it is, but I do suspect Orcish Bowmasters.
But that's a new card.
It's a good one. I'm gonna tap Mox Opal for a blue.
Am I dead? Yeah.
No. I'm gonna cast another Mox Opal, which, as a legendary permanent, I have to choose one. I'll get rid of the old one that already made blue this turn.
Trash, garbage goes in the trash, right? Yeah.
Remember Lotus Petal, how it's kind of a treasure that you have to put in your deck?
Yeah.
Mox Opal, the second one, is also a Lotus Petal.
Fair enough.
1 blue in the pool. I have access to 2, 3, and then if we count for affinity, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have,
Oh no, not again. Oh, okay.
I have a 7 mana card that might matter here, but I found a land, and it's a good one. I'm gonna play Urza Saga. Right now, it doesn't do anything until his trigger resolves.
Congratulations, Urza Saga. You can now tap for a colorless mana.
If you have something like Wasteland or a Disenchant effect that can destroy an enchantment or land at instant speed, you can kill an Urza Saga before it learns how to make mana. It can really mess up someone's turn. But that didn't happen here. No Wastelands on the other side of the board. So I have 1 blue mana in the pool. 2, 3, and then for affinity, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna play a Thought Monitor. Another one.
That resolves.
I'll draw 2 cards.
I'm gonna activate my Aether Vial.
Oh.
The ability
No.
resolves.
Oh, you had me. You had me.
This is one of the reasons why I really like this deck is because Aether Vial is a card that makes you think about everything, and
Yeah.
sometimes there's just nothing.
The really good Death and Taxes players will activate Aether Vial at the most annoying times, even if they have nothing.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to know that when they tap it, they have something. Like even just the turn you play Aether Vial, when it's on 0, end step, activate Aether Vial, and they just look at you.
So basically what I got from that is he thinks I'm a really good Death and Taxes.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me.
Well, I know you're not because you would have had Spirit of the Lab for my Thoughtcast this turn if you were good at this
If
deck.
I crush you too easily, it wouldn't make for good content. I gotta give you a fighter's chance. You can draw your 2 cards down.
I will.
You're definitely giving him that fighter's chance. You might have given him enough of one. It's time to.
Yeah, speaking of fighting, I have a creature that can attack now. Attack you for 2 flying.
I'm gonna say, ouch, flying damage, can't block it with my Spirit, Skyclave Apparition. Okay.
Nor would you want to.
Nor would I want to, yeah. I'll take the 2, I'll go down to 17.
And that's all I got for my turn, unfortunately.
All right, well,
That's all.
For me, that's pretty good. So we're gonna start by remembering our Aether Vial trigger, and actually this time around, I'm gonna choose to decline, so we're gonna keep it at 2. So let's go to our draw.
You've already made it clear you don't have a 2-drop. What are you doing? What is the plan?
I do have a plan, I promise.
I'm genuinely confused right now. Normally I could see through all the lines here. Oh, you have a Recruiter of the Guard.
Yeah, you're going to
Okay.
Doctor Stranging it already. All right. So I'm gonna play an Arid Mesa, and the first thing I'm gonna do is get into the red zone. So I see your 2/2, I attack with mine. Hiya!
Trying to imagine a world where my 2/2 matters more than your 2/2. But my life total is high. I'll just take the 2 damage.
All right, and in my second main phase, I'm gonna actually fetch one more time. So I'm gonna go down to 16 now, and I'm going to unveil a little bit of a mystery here. We're gonna pick up a Scrubland.
I am shocked.
Wow, only white border?
Look, I'm not made out of money. You know.
How embarrassing.
Yeah, it is really shameful that we had to bring 3 legacy decks each to this, and you had to dip into your whiteboard dual lands for it.
For the record, though, you've got the my favorite artwork for Thought Monitor and everything else, honestly. So yeah, even the Chalice of the Voids are old border. Props. Okay.
Yeah, I put some work into this deck. I like that it looks old in the old format.
I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 mana here, and I'm going to cast. He's like reading me like a book. It's actually crazy. I'm going to cast Recruiter of the Guard, but you'll never guess what I'm going to get.
I don't think I'm ever going to have to guess. Because I have an interactive spell for this.
Oh no.
I have Force of Will.
Again.
And I will once again shred my body and brain, ripping another Force of Will out of my hand. That's 3 of them gone. You can almost stop worrying about this card.
Wait, why does he say it like that?
That's actually pretty hardcore Force of Willing, exiling a Force of Will.
Common legacy play. Frequently, Force of Will is a card you want one of in a game, and getting rid of the second one, unless you think you're gonna get to 5 mana, which I'm honestly pretty close, but I don't wanna use it that way. Let's get rid of this. He showed me last turn he doesn't have a 2 for his Vial. He had a multi-step plan involving this Recruiter of the Guard. I think I can collapse the whole business here.
He kind of actually did. Yeah, that Force of Will is going to resolve, is going to stop my Recruiter of the Guard. And you know what? I'm going to take that, but this is a small win for me. I'm going to actually bounce your Emery with my Caracas. It is a legend, like you mentioned earlier. It's going straight back to your hand. That's all I got for my turn.
Luckily, she did exactly what she needed to do, which is be alive long enough to find that second land drop. And now we're cooking.
Go ahead.
Draw for the turn. In my main phase, Urza's Saga ticks up. Then there's a triggered ability that teaches it how to make construct tokens. Do you have any responses to that?
It learns. It learns really well.
And the machines are learning. Speaking of machines, I'll attack you for 4 with my flying machines.
Ouch. I'm going to go down to 12.
That life total is getting a little soft over there, buddy.
Yeah, it is. A bit too soft, in fact.
My life total is flush, which means I'm comfortable playing this Ancient Tomb, a land that taps for 2 colorless mana, but it deals 2 to me when I do it.
Arguably, I think that's one of the strongest cards in the format, so power.
Maybe one of the strongest cards in Magic. Turns out breaking the mana rules is one of the core things that makes a card unfair.
I hear it's strong in everything except Canadian Highlander.
I wouldn't know. I don't know what that is.
Well, you don't know what Canadian Highlander is? It's just the sort of format for a type of player such as yourself would love, actually. You should check it out.
I'm going to sidebar real quick, and this is not a complaint about the existence of any of these formats, because there's a lot of them. There's Canadian
Sounds like
Highlander,
incoming.
old school, pre-modern, middle school. There's all these really cool formats out there that someone who is responsible for 5 videos a week cannot get into.
You would think at 5 videos a week, go like and subscribe, you would think at 5 videos a week, a lot of formats would be a great thing. You're like, it's pre-modern Mondays, Canadian Highlander Tuesdays.
Audiences for those formats, while zealous, are very small.
Right, unlike Legacy, which is just one of the largest communities in Magic.
Right.
We love Legacy.
We know this Legacy content is gonna go through the roof.
Yes, I've already hampered myself by being a legacy content creator. I can't go into the niche within the niche of the niche.
I think there are more Canadian Highlander players than Legacy players. Anyway, go on.
Could be true. No offense to Canada or their wonderful people.
I apologize, and that was just a joke. I apologize to all 6 people who play Legacy. I'm really sorry. We love it.
Apology accepted. 2 of us are here, right? Yeah.
If we get 2 more, we can have 8 to fight, have an event fire.
Yeah, we haven't even been able to draft at the annual Legacy Con. Okay, the jokes are over.
His face got really serious when he said that too.
There we go.
Emery, Lurker of the Lock.
That resolves. Yeah, you have Emery.
She has a triggered ability that mills 4 cards.
A legendary triggered ability. Yep.
Keep me milling. I don't mind at all. I've milled a Lotus Petal, a Shadow Spear, another Otawara, and a Mishra's Bauble. Wrangle my graveyard here. It's getting thick.
Yeah. Thick with 2 C's.
Absolutely.
All right,
Approaching 3.
That's actually quite a little spread method there on the graveyard.
I've done this a lot.
I'm still thinking about the 7 cards that Carmen would draw every now and then.
Hey, he watches the show.
Gotta learn.
Go.
That's all I have for my turn.
All right. Well, for me, I'm gonna untap here. I'm gonna actually put this up to 3 now.
We got him.
Yeah. And I'm gonna draw for turn. And I'm gonna go ahead and start things off with 2 mana being tapped for a Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. It is a legendary human soldier that has first strike and says non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. Admittedly, it's a little bit late to the party, but all your spells seem to be non-creatures, and now they're just more expensive.
She's also a legend, so you can bounce her with Caracas.
That is true. Although
That's one strategy, yes.
also, I'm going to go ahead and play my land for the turn. I'm going to activate Caracas to bounce your Emery one more time. Keep that card off the table, pretty please.
She's back in my hand.
If you keep doing that, he might mill himself out.
I found my secret backdoor plan now. Tap 1 mana for Mother of Runes. And Mother of Runes in this pretty foiling is a 1/1 cleric for a single white mana, and it essentially is like the progenitor of all the protection effects that we've seen throughout Magic: The Gathering's history. Target creature you control gains protection from a color of your choice until end of turn. So nice blue flyers that you've got going on there. I am not going to attack with my Skyclave Apparition. That would be pretty bad. Instead, I will just pass the turn.
So by not attacking, you told me some important information. I would be worried about Flicker Wisp coming out of that 3-point Aether Vial, but if you had Flicker Wisp, you might as well attack for 2. I think I'm safe. Or you really don't know how to do combat with Death and Taxes. So this could be the long con. At the end of turn, I'm gonna tap Ancient Tomb. I take 2 damage down to 14, and I'll use those 2 to make a construct with my Urza Saga.
All right, you have an Urza Saga.
And I'll use this nice BoshNRoll bot, construct token, official BoshNRoll merchandise, live on the show. And this is currently a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 6/6 creature.
Ouch.
Is it legendary?
It is not.
Oh, that's
which
too
is
bad, 'cause
great.
It would have been, yeah.
Because I plan on making another one.
My
very soon.
Caracas!
May I begin my turn?
Please don't hurt me.
Well, I'm gonna hurt you bad. I'll draw for my turn, and then Urza Saga goes up to 3, which creates a trigger that I search my library for an artifact that costs 0 or 1. Important with this card, it's not mana value 1 or less. It's 0 or 1. So I can't get something like Chalice of the Void, which costs XX because it doesn't say the number 0 on it. But in response to this trigger, I'm gonna take 2 damage from Ancient Tomb and activate it one more time for the road.
Yikes.
And I'm about to search my library for another artifact, if that's okay with you.
I got nothing. It resolves.
Unfortunately, my Shadow Spear was milled away last turn. That's the one I would have really liked here.
Oh, because that gives them trample, doesn't it?
Trample and Lifelink.
Oh,
Good
and
luck.
lifelink
Yeah, good
does.
luck, creature deck.
All right. Well, while you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and take a shortcut here. I'm gonna actually fetch with my Marsh Flats, and I'm gonna go down to 11. And hopefully, I'm not dying because of this. But and I'll just.
No, I think you're dying because of those constructs.
Yeah, those are gonna be pretty bad.
At what point do you bring your commander into play?
Aether Vial on 5.
It's a terrifying endgame, and I'm really trying to get this game over before it shows up.
I'm really trying for him not to.
My Urza Saga is going to find Urza's Bauble. Just flavor success. Urza Objects finds Urza Object. And when that trigger resolves, because my saga has reached its final chapter, it is placed in the graveyard.
Good riddance.
Yep, that's gone. It just left 16 power behind. Well, I have 2 flying creatures, which you've made it clear you're not ready to fight. Unless it is that Flicker Wisp that you've weirdly not used yet. Maybe you were dead on the backswing and I didn't do the math and I didn't give you enough credit last turn. Now I'm in my own head, which is, I think, the head I need to worry about for this game. I think you're in trouble.
Yikes.
Oh.
Yikes.
Or it's a great bluff on that Flicker Wisp.
I'm gonna go to combat. Attack you with my Flying Thought Monitors and my 8/8 Construct Token.
Well, I'm gonna activate my Aether Vial. Do you believe me this time?
Here it is.
Let's see it.
I believe him. I believe him.
Here's my 3-drop. It's not exactly a Flicker Wisp, but it's Flicker Wisp adjacent.
Yeah.
Here's Recruiter of the Guard. So this is 2 and a white for a 1/1 human soldier. And now while the stats aren't that impressive, it does have a really good ability that kind of just fits into this deck as a whole. I get to search my library for a creature with toughness 2 or less, and then put that into my hand, and then shuffle my library. So what I'm gonna do is use this Recruiter of the Guard. I'm actually gonna pick up that Flicker Wisp that you were talking about. So it's gonna go straight to my hand, and while you won't see it this turn, you can expect it to definitely come down on the next one. So this goes to my hand. We're gonna move the blocks. I'm actually going to just block with this Skyclave Apparition, and it's gonna go in front of your token.
I have no effects before damage.
Ouch. Okay, I'm gonna go down to 7. This is gonna die, and you actually get a nice little treat here.
I receive this 1/1 Illusion Token.
Do you get your Pithing Needle back too?
I certainly don't, which is a way that Skyclave Apparition is much better than every other Oblivion Ring variant that's been printed.
That's pretty good. That would have sucked if he got his Pithing Needle back.
Pithing Needle would have sucked. A 1/1 attacking into my 2/1 first striking Thalia, not so much.
Right.
Yep, we're at a point where I genuinely think I'm losing this game, and my Pithing Needle and my Shadow Spear are the 2 ways I would save it.
How are you losing? Okay. Well, you'll show us how it's done, Bosh.
We'll see it soon. Let me take one more look at that Flicker Wisp. I'm gonna activate my Urza's Bauble. I get to see a card from your hand at random, and there's only one. It's the Flicker Wisp. And then at the beginning of the next upkeep, so on your turn, I will draw a card from the Bauble. I'm gonna pass the turn, and in your upkeep, I draw a card from the Bauble.
All right, so we're gonna untap here. We've got an Aether Vial trigger that actually I'm gonna do something different now. So I've been I've been increasing it and then all this sort of stuff. With this trigger on the stack, I'm actually going to activate the Aether Vial, and this is gonna allow me to put the Flicker Wisp that we all look at. It's not a magic trick here, and it's gonna come into play, and that trigger is gonna go on the stack, and I'm gonna actually blink one of your tokens. That 8/8 is now poof.
I assume you're blinking the untapped one.
Which one do you like more?
I mean, I like the untapped one more. I mean, are you gonna be nice or mean?
I'll be nice. You can keep your favorite one, because I am not attacking this turn. That much for sure is happening.
Then I'll keep the untapped one.
All right.
And then this is gonna go up to 4. See how I did that? So, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, right?
As a Merfolk player, I'm well versed in Aether Vial trickery.
And I am going to pay 3 mana to do the thing. Now, what is the thing you might be asking? Well, it's putting my companion into my hand. So now you know I have this, and I'm gonna play a land for the turn. It is your turn.
Oh, now I see how you're dead. Go on.
Yep, we're in that endgame that I predicted a few turns ago, this Flicker Wisp killing my tokens. I have one decision to make here, which is I have Aether Spellbomb available to me. I can make this board a little worse, but then Yorion will just destroy me next turn. You're at 7 though. That's not a high life total.
It's close. It's very close.
I am, in the end step, going to use Aether Spellbomb to return Flicker Wisp to your hand.
All right, I have no responses to that. Flicker Wisp comes back to my hand.
And this is me very much saying, I'm in a bad spot, I'm gonna make something happen fast, because that's not a good long-term play, but I don't have a long-term anyway. I'll draw for my turn. I'll play another Ancient Tomb from my hand. I have 12 life to work with at the moment.
By my math, that's 6 Ancient Tomb activations.
All the damage that's been taken this game is from myself. I'm gonna swing for the fences a little bit. Tap my Ancient Tomb, I lose 2 life. Alongside this island, I'm gonna play Psy Master Thopterist.
Oh my, okay, well.
Whenever I cast an artifact spell, make a 1/1 colorless Thopter creature token with flying, and I can pay a blue, a colorless, and sacrifice 2 artifacts to draw a card. Big ol' 1/4 booty, but also a legend.
Nice. Hey, Grockus, how you doing? It's been a while, huh?
Pretty good. How do you feel about this Psy?
Psy resolves, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna lose another 2 life, tapping Ancient Tomb down to 8. I'm gonna cast Urza's Bauble, which costs 1 because of your stupid Thalia.
Let's go, Thalia!
I have 1 colorless mana floating, and when I cast this, Psy triggers to make a Thopter token.
Thop.
Can't thop, won't thop.
We had that one so you already had that one prepped and ready to go, right? That was really, really cool.
I've said that hundreds of times on my channel.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Someday. Okay, how do you feel about Urza's Bauble?
That's also good.
Okay, I have 1 colorless floating. I'll use that colorless to pay for a Chalice of the Void on 0, using the 1 for Thalia, and this triggers Psy Master Thopterist again.
All right, you have another Thopter.
I get another Thopter.
Thop. Can't thop, won't thop.
Thop till you drop. Now my construct is big enough to kill you, so you have to block it. I will move to combat with my creatures.
Okay.
This creature are all attacking. Just these.
Okay. So I have thought about this in the tank pretty hard, and I'm gonna do a cool trick here. I'm actually gonna block your giant construct token with my 2/1 Thalia. First strike damage?
First strike damage happens.
Sucker punch you for 2, and then before regular damage, I'm actually gonna use the Caracas to bounce the
Nice.
Thalia and keep her alive. So this goes back to my hand. I'll take the 4 and I'll go down to 3.
You're at 3. Okay, and Thalia has left play. And now I'll use my Mox Opal to cast this Emery, Lurker of the Loch.
Oh, that's the one that we knew about this whole time.
Yep.
Yep, Emery is good.
Who will mill 4 on arrival. Mishra's Bauble, another Emery, Urza's Saga, and Seed of the Synod are all in the graveyard now. And I'm going to target you with Urza's Bauble. I'd like it to see a card at random from your hand.
Honestly, you know my whole hand, so pick your favorite one.
Okay, I have seen all of his cards before.
Most powerful Urza's Bauble ever.
And I'm gonna pass the turn and draw a card in your upkeep.
All right, on my upkeep as well, Aether Vial is going to trigger, and we're going to actually put Aether Vial up to 5 now.
Oh.
You can guess what's coming in, right? I'm gonna draw for turn as well.
If only you had that blue spell that let you deal 3 damage to target opponent.
Right.
Why don't you run that?
All right, first things first. Let's play Cavern of Souls. So this is Sweetland. I'm gonna name Orc with this one. So all my orcs, if I use the Cavern of Souls, they are uncounterable. And we're gonna actually do things a little bit fun here. We're going to use the Cavern of Souls and 2 planes. We're gonna go ahead and start with Flicker Wisp right now. And that is going to go after the other constructs. See, I wasn't actually gonna let you have your fun here. You weren't gonna keep any of them. I knew it all along. Let's see, I think there's a cool trick that I could do here, but I gotta make sure I do it right. So I'm gonna activate the Aether Vial in my main phase, and I'm going to put Yorion the Sky Noodle into play. So when this ETBs, we're gonna just blink a bunch of creatures out of play. And so I'm actually gonna choose the 2 creatures that have ETBs, the Flicker Wisp and the Recruiter of the Guard. So these are gonna go away till the end step. All right, and then I'm just gonna move to my end step.
Does anything happen in your end step?
Well, some cool stuff is gonna happen. So we're gonna start by bringing these 2 back. This trigger and then this trigger will both go on the stack for the Recruiter and the Flicker Wisp. Let's start with the Recruiter. It's going to go ahead and grab a Solitude. And Solitude is one of those cool new cards from Modern Horizons 2 that has really just fit into this deck. Here it is. And hopefully this is gonna be able to get me back into this game. Flicker Wisp is going to target the Recruiter of the Guard, and that is going to go ahead and now remove, because we're in my end step, right? So this isn't gonna come back for a hot second. I'm gonna go ahead and pass to you.
I'll begin my turn.
Uh-oh.
You're at 3 life over there.
3, you can do it.
Please don't.
This is the last meaningful turn of this game, one way or the other. I think it's safe to say. And I know you have Thalia and Solitude in your hand.
You know my entire hand. There are no
I have
secrets here.
all the information that I could need to make informed decisions. And I'm gonna start with a Thoughtcast and draw 2 cards for 1 mana.
That's so good. Okay, yeah. If there's a way I lose this game, this is how it starts.
And I'll draw 2 off the Thoughtcast, and this happens sometimes. I'll cast a Thoughtcast from my hand.
I wish I had Thalia in play right now.
I know,
Yeah.
you blew it.
Go ahead.
I'll draw 2 cards from that.
Actually, funny enough, the Thalia wouldn't do anything, right? Because you could use the affinity for artifacts to pay through the tax. Yeah.
Affinity is much larger than the Thalia tax right now. It's not even close.
Played it perfectly then. Nice.
Yep. I'm gonna play an Urza Saga from my hand.
God. All right.
I'm going to use Emery Lurker of the Lock. I'm gonna cast Shadow Spear from my graveyard, which triggers Psy Master Thopterus. And I'll move these so we know which ones can attack and which ones
Sure.
can't. This is a new Thopter down here, and Shadow Spear is on the stack. We in there with that one? I know your hand. I don't need to ask that question. Next, I'm gonna cast an Urza's Bauble, which will be countered by my own Chalice of the Void, but I did cast it. Psy sees it, and Psy gives me a Thopter for the road.
Oh no. Okay.
And then this gets countered by my own Chalice of the Void. I'm gonna activate Ancient Tomb. I go to 6. Life total dropping. I'm gonna equip Shadow Spear to, I think it's this illusion token.
The one that I gave you?
Yep, the one that you laughed at and said
Ooh.
you couldn't possibly care about this because you have a 2/1 first strike in play, but then you foolishly returned it to your hand. I'll go to combat.
Okay.
Thought Monitor, Illusion Token, Psy Master Thopterus.
You know it's desperate when he's swinging with Psy.
Yep,
Yeah.
the big Psy Daddy. He's ready to rumble.
And I think, am I still taking 2 points of damage here? Well, let's just go through the motions here. I'm gonna play the Solitude right now. I'm gonna pitch this Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, and I'm gonna exile the Illusion. So that gets rid of that.
So this is exiled. I gain 2 life.
Cool. All right, so this is now in the graveyard. Block, as I described. So Flicker Wisp in front of the Thought Monitor, Yorion in front of the Thought Monitor, and Mother of Runes in front of the Psy.
Okay, I'm ready for damage.
I'm gonna go ahead and activate Mother of Runes for the first time, and I give my Flicker Wisp protection from blue.
Okay, I'm going to sacrifice my Lotus Petal for blue and lose 2 life off of Ancient Tomb.
Oh my. Wait, you've got something?
I have a Psy in play, and I have 2 artifacts that are gonna die anyway. So I'd like to draw a
okay.
card on the way out.
Wow.
Okay, I'm ready for combat damage.
Okay.
You go to 1, and all the creatures in play stay where they are.
Okay, well that was exciting.
I'm going to end my turn from there.
So on your end step, Recruiter of the Guard is going to come back into play. And I'm actually gonna get the one card here that I think could impact the board. That's 2 and a black for a Plague Engineer. So this is a really sweet creature sweeper, pseudo creature sweeper that says creatures of the chosen type get -1/-1, and I declare the creature type when this card ETBs or enters the battlefield. So that's on your end step. We're gonna go ahead and untap, and this time I'm not gonna use the Aether Vial. You can kind of see why, because I've got Yorion and Recruiter of the Guard. I'm gonna draw for the turn. I'll play my 4th Scrubland. Oh, look at that, that's cool. And why don't we go ahead and put this into play? So 3 mana for the Plague Engineer. I'm going to name Thopter.
That's probably a good decision.
Yeah.
I was thinking orcs, but
All these 1/1s are just gone? All that work I did?
Yep, they are. And by my math, let's see, I've got 4, 3, that's 7, 8, and 9.
It's true.
Can we call myself the world's greatest Death and Taxes player now? Creatures enter the red zone?
You did it.
Woohoo! All right, nice.
and your life total is again?
1.
Wow.
Wow.
Great
Oh,
game.
man. That was sweaty. Yo, GG's. All right.
All right, I want in round 2 because I know your decks and I really want to play this one. So I'm gonna take your seat for round 2, but you may not use this deck in round 2. You must choose from one of these two, not knowing, unless you're familiar with Brian's deck boxes, which hopefully you're not, what I have picked. So make your selection and it's you and me round 2.
All right, well, my second best deck, I'm gonna go for this one.
Don't tell me what it is.
Oh, you're not.
But I know what it is because I read all the deck lists. Woohoo! But I didn't know he was gonna pick it. I already picked mine first. Round 2, baby! Okay, so the deck that I absolutely loved in Brian's collection is Grixis Tempo. And the reason I love it, it's got Delver of Secrets, one of my favorite cards that is great in every format it's legal in. I loved that when we had Innistrad, the original Innistrad, but it's also full of cool spells like Lightning Bolts and Thought Seizes. I am not a Magic the Gathering boomer, okay?
All right, so combat, maybe not my actual specialty, but I'm a control player through and through, and I've been playing control for over a decade. So this next deck that I've got coming up, 4-color control with some of the coolest cards that have been recently added to the format. I'm talking Uro, I'm talking the One Ring, I'm talking all the best white removal spells like Swords to Plowshares and Prismatic Ending. I think I have a really good chance here because I've got a great late game, and I mean, I'm gonna beat the Prof, it's gonna be easy.
Welcome to round 2. I've been relegated. Prof stole one of my favorite decks, and off we go.
Is this one of your favorites?
Genuinely, yes.
Genuinely, that's awesome. That's so cool. I can't wait to absolutely butcher it and lose this match. I mean, win. Now, since I have taken Bosch's seat, I get to be on the play because it's as though I am in the loser's seat. Does that make sense to you?
You'll need all the help you can get, Prof.
Okay, all right. Shall we resolve mulligans?
Let's go for it, yeah.
All right.
And I'm gonna say one thing. So Death and Taxes may not be my best deck, but this one is. I literally made this deck and made it a Force in the Legacy format with help from actually Bosch as well. So good luck.
I'm just really glad because in addition to your Twitch channel, you are known for your coverage and you have finally proven that or disproven that those on coverage actually can play Magic. So I'm really glad that we got proof of that because you know what they say in the comments.
Hey, well, my motto, and most of my followers know this, is better lucky than skilled. So
I'd like to offer the rebuttal that some of the earliest Magic coverage was Rashad Miller, who's a stone cold killer.
Oh, I love Rashad.
yeah.
And he's very good at Magic too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know. Okay, I am thinking I need to mulligan this, but since this is your favorite deck ever, I will exercise the right to ask for coverage confirmation. Would you mulligan that hand, or would you keep it?
I would keep this hand.
You would keep this
Oh,
hand.
yes.
Then I am gonna No, I'll keep the hand. All right, are you, how are you looking? Are you mulliganing? Are you keeping? What are you doing there?
So I'm gonna teach you a quick shortcut in Legacy.
You're gonna teach the professor.
Oh yeah, rule number 1 in Legacy.
Yeah.
Never mulligan. Keep, let's go.
All right, let's do it. Turn 1, I'm gonna Misty Rainforest. And we're going for a Shockland. No. I think we're going for an original duel, I can only assume.
There's not a Shockland in the deck. Good luck with that search.
Probably that little Underground Sea.
That's the one I'd get.
Yeah. That's really cool how you took I'm guessing a black marker and filled in the white border on that, right?
Well, you see, back in the ancient times, Wizards of the Coast put black borders on some of the dual lands.
Really? I didn't know they were available in black border, so there were real versions. Because the white border ones are just proxies, I assume.
Yeah, any white border dual land is not a real border.
Right, like those scrub lands. That's the joke. It's just what a scrub plays. All right. We're gonna do my favorite thing. This is the entire reason, no joke, why I wanted to play this, is to get to do this. This is going back to my Magic heritage. We're going to turn 1, Delver of Secrets.
this card has probably caused me the most stress in my entire time playing Magic, so I'm terrified actually. Turn 1 Delver is a great start.
Pass turn.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead, draw a card for the turn, and I'm going to play Flooded Strand, crack this, go down to 19. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a Tropical Island, and with my Tropical Island, I'm going to cast an interesting card here. It's Delighted Halfling. And I gotta ask you, because this is Legacy, does my Delighted Halfling resolve?
So here's the thing. I think it's going to, because of what I can do, by letting it resolve.
All right.
Are you looking surprised? I'm not letting Brian play this. I'm playing it. I'm making the call that it resolves, but I want to know, would you let it resolve, assuming I have a counter spell, which I do not want to broadcast that I do. If I do, if I had a counter spell, would you have used that?
Hypothetically might
Would
not.
you have used that counter spell?
Well, hypothetically, there are 2 counterspells in this deck.
Yes.
One of them I would use quickly and with extreme prejudice, and the other I would not use.
All right. That doesn't answer my question at all. All right. It resolves. It resolves.
All right. That's it for me.
All right. Now, Delver is going to check during my upkeep. I'm going to untap, and then before upkeep, I'm going to tap this for a blue.
All right.
And this is the perfect time to use this card, Brainstorm.
Wow. Okay, so that's a pretty cool combination you got there.
Yeah. So this allows me to draw 1, 2, 3 cards. Ew. Nonetheless, we're going to put these 2 cards back in this order. All
2
right?
cards have been put back.
Yes. And now we move to upkeep, and at the beginning of my upkeep, I reveal the top card of my library. If it is an instant or sorcery, oh snap, it is.
Whoa.
That was lucky.
Whoa.
Luck had nothing to do with it. That, of course, then is drawn for turn. Unfortunately, my land is tapped. That's pretty bad. I'll just go ahead and I'm gonna play a Wasteland and tap it and destroy your land.
Ooh, okay.
Move to declare attackers. Jeff Goldblum coming in at you for 3.
I go down to 16.
Pass the turn.
All right, well, I'm gonna draw for my turn. Let's see if I can do something about this. I'm gonna go ahead and start with a Tundra. This is gonna come into play untapped, and I just don't like bugs. So I'm gonna send yours farming. I'm gonna play Swords to Plowshares. So you are going to gain 3 life, but your Delver Secret / Insectile Aberration is gonna be exiled for the rest of the game.
Boo.
And
Now you know I don't actually have a counterspell. Or at least not one that's relevant here. I go up to 22.
punch in for 1 damage.
I take 1, go to 21.
All right, I felt a little good, petty, but good. Go ahead.
It's the petty play. All right, untap, upkeep, draw. I'm going to tap for a blue, and I just need to think about what's going on in this game, so I'm gonna ponder. So lets me look at the top 3 cards in my library. Wow, that was a wild well.
How cliche, the professor doing a little think here.
I like the cards that we're looking at here.
I think I want to put them back in the exact order they were in. The nice thing is, though, I get to draw a card off of the ponder. I will draw this card. And then I'm going to Wasteland your Tundra.
Oh, no, another one. Okay.
Another one.
Okay.
We're keeping the tempo balanced. You get 1 mana, I get 1 mana, pass the turn.
All right, untap. So this is actually interesting because the deck that you're playing is one of the decks in the format that is like lowest to the ground in the sense that it does a lot of cheap actions and it tries to leverage like cheap creatures to generate advantages that the opponent cannot come back from.
Yes.
That was actually my last land, but thankfully I drew another
Wow.
one. So we were almost close there that we didn't lose. And in fact, I'm so scared of a couple things that might be in your hand that I'm not even going to attack this turn. I'm just going to pass the turn.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I too monologue about how I just drew the card when I already had it. It's a
Cool.
good strategy.
So there is a proper play here, but I'm not gonna do it because you're up against the professor. And when you're up against the professor, what happens is we're just gonna wasteland that land. That's not the proper play. There's a better play, but I can't resist.
I was a little bit afraid of that, so that's why I didn't attack here, because I'm still trying to play around days. I'm actually gonna use my Tundra with the Wasteland on the
Oh,
stack
really?
to cast a Brainstorm.
To cast a brain, I'm not worried about days.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah. I'm gonna draw 3 cards.
What does
then.
days even do? I'd have to read it in my hand if I had it in my hand.
Well
I'd
then.
broadcast that?
I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 cards back.
He's making the face. He doesn't have a land.
He doesn't have a land.
And Tundra's gonna go.
Bye-bye. I couldn't resist. There's such a better move I could have done, but I had to do that move.
So I haven't seen your hand in a minute.
Yeah.
But I think the third Wasteland, after your opponent tells you, "Ooh, I just top decked out of the landlock," I think that's the right play.
That's just how my brain works, is get them.
And there's this thing that happens in Legacy that control players try to avoid like the plague, and it's called the Brainstorm lock. That's where you cast Brainstorm, you get to see your 3 cards, then you put 2 back. And if those are bad, you want to shuffle them away.
Right.
Crack a fetch land, use a ponder, mill yourself.
None of which he has.
If you can't do that, you have to draw those 2 bad cards again and again. And if you've ever resolved the card Time Stretch, that's what it feels like.
Oh no.
Hester.
Moment of truth.
I'm gonna untap. I'm gonna draw. Something about 3 Wastelands killing 3 mana sources. I'm going to actually, you know what? I get to attack for 1.
You're gonna attack.
We got some value in here.
I'm back down to my starting life total. Go back to 40. Oh no, wait, this is Legacy. I'm at 20.
Remember when I said that this was my best deck? Yikes. Go ahead.
All right, untap, upkeep, and draw. Oh, that's sweet. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Play a Volcanic Island.
You wouldn't hurt me like Coval did, would you?
Me? I'm not doing
the friendly professor, right? Yeah,
friendly professor. I'm just gonna pass the turn, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not so bad.
Just passing the turn.
Well, now I'm gonna draw the second card that I put back from the
Right.
brainstorm. So after this turn, I get a fresh look. I have 7 cards in my hand, and I don't believe you for even a second, so I'm not going to attack again. Go ahead.
Before your turn ends.
Okay.
I was hoping you would do something like a brainstorm.
Okay.
Before your turn ends, though, I'm gonna get it out. I'm gonna do black and another.
Okay.
And it's time for a brand new card, Orcish Bowmasters.
Meat's on the menu, and
Yep.
I'm the meat.
Yeah. Does it resolve?
Absolutely.
It
Unfortunately.
does. So I get 2 things, not 1, but 2. I get an orc army. That's a 1/1 currently. It might get bigger. And I get to do something 1 damage. I wish that Delighted Halfling had not filled up on pie and was a 1/1 and not a 1/2. So I'm gonna just have to hit you for 1.
All right, I'm gonna go down to 15 here. Yeah, things are starting to look a little rough now.
Yes, they are. That's how I like it.
Your turn.
All right, cool. Untap, upkeep, draw. I know this card. I didn't even remember this was in the deck, but I know it.
He's looking at his graveyard. Oh no.
Wait, did I broadcast something? Okay.
I think we know what this is.
Okay, all right, well, let's start with this. I'm just gonna start, before I even attack, main phase, just gonna do black and another, and I'm gonna cast that Night's Whisper. I draw 2 cards and I lose 2 life. So I go down to 28, sorry. 18, and I draw 2 cards, 1, 2. That's fine, very good. Didn't play a land for turn. We're just gonna go ahead and we're going to play a Volcanic Island. Pass.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not completely dead yet. I'm gonna go ahead and draw here. And let's see. Yeah, this is what happens when you play against a deck as efficient as Delver. Sometimes you just lose all your mana, and you have to move to cleanup and discard.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna go ahead and discard a Fairy Time Raveler because I can't cast it. And it's your turn.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but we're gonna untap. We're going to upkeep and draw. Lovely, lovely. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to play an Underground Sea.
Okay.
Okay, so this is totally fair because I can't even get the full thing. I'm just gonna tap 2, and I'm only exiling 1, 2, 3 instants or sorceries from my graveyard, but I am exiling a couple of lands to pay for our good old friend, Murktide Regent.
Yeah, it's only a 6/6.
Yeah.
For 2 mana and it flies. I gotta ask you, how does it feel being on the dark side here? Like knowing your opponent's stranded, helpless, can't do anything.
Feels good.
All right,
Feels real good.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Oh.
That's assuming
Yes.
that it resolves. Now remember, we are playing Legacy, and that is so scary that I actually am going to spend 0 mana, but through sheer, what was the thing that you said?
It's your force of will, shredding your body and brain.
My force of will, shredding my body and brain to counter your Murktide Regent. I'm gonna take 1 and go down to 14 to pay the cost.
Oh, cool. I'm going to Force of Will, exiling a Daze.
Oh, okay.
You got another force?
Chuck's notes. No. Yes. Murktide is good. All right.
We continue passing to you.
This is it. This is the turn. Oof. Okay, and
Yeah.
we've got a game. High
All
top
right.
deck, Scalding Tarn.
All right. Scald it.
That's
All right.
trouble.
And I am going to go ahead and fetch down to 13. Scalding Tarn is going to get a copy of tropical island, and I'm going to cast Life from the Loam.
You're going to attempt to cast Life from the Loam.
I'm going to attempt to cast Life from the Loam. So I'm
Got another Force of Will because that will come in handy with Days returning an island to my hand. You may pay 1. Oh, sorry, you seem to be short on mana.
He's too happy about this. That's just...
I never win except at Legacy.
He's a sick individual, and I like it.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you have another force?
No, I'm just in a really bad spot here.
That's a shame.
Yeah. And all right, I got nothing, Prof. It's your turn.
Oh boy. All right, here we go. Untap, upkeep, draw. You know, what would you say if I drew my 4th Wasteland?
No, God. Prof, please. Ah!
I didn't draw my 4th Wasteland, but
Okay,
I might as well have because I'm gonna play Snuff Out. I have a swamp in play. I'm going to use it on your Delighted Halfling. I'll pay 4 life, that's fine.
Too much pie.
Move to declare attackers. It's go time. Swing for 6, 7, 8 damage.
Yeah. Delver gonna Delver. I'm gonna go down to 5.
There's no Delver. You exiled my Delver. Totally fair magic.
This is a Delver. Riptide Regent?
No!
Also, this is Legacy. I'm playing with Orcish Bowmasters and Murktide Regent. This is Legacy. And some very expensive lands. Very expensive. Pass.
All right. One more draw step. I think I'm just dead. I'm gonna pass the turn back to you.
What's your life total at?
I'm at 5.
But you're leaving that one land untapped. It's making me suspicious. It's making me suspicious that you're not just scooping. Whatever you have.
That's that. I could call it there. Yeah.
Good game.
Good games.
game.
Good games.
So, I think, Bosh, you need your chance back in this seat. Technically, this seat 1-run game, you got locked out. The control player got locked out. That was kind of just goofy little round. One more round, whoever wins that round, because you won round 1, I round 1, round 2. That's what it's gonna be. But here's the thing, gentlemen. You only have 1 deck left. Let's do it.
Okay, this is really awkward. I didn't mean to get beaten that badly, but Wasteland's really good. This time around, though, my next deck is a different flavor of Delver. Instead of going Grixis, I've got Jeskai, and we're playing Dragon's Rage Channeler, Delver of Secrets, Fast Tempo, and my new favorite card from the Lord of the Rings set, 4th Aerlingas. Now for Wrath, now for Ruin. We're going to play an aggressive strategy, and we're gonna go try to win as fast as we possibly can.
I've got 1 deck left, but it's my best one. I got the powerful Cephalid Breakfast combo. It's an Azorius control deck that can also win the game on turn 2 with Force of Will protection. If Anuraag gives me any time to figure it out, any time to set up, he better come out fast, because I'm gonna crush him.
Round 3, we are shuffling up. Let's play. This is for the title of Legacy Oh no, actually we had Andrea Mengucci on Legacy, and he's kind of got that title. This is for for this episode, the title of Legacy Master of this episode.
Well, it might go to you after how badly you beat me in that last round.
Yeah.
Oof.
He was my second in the duel. So.
All right. So who goes first is going to be the loser of the last round gets to pick.
Shotgun, I will take the play.
All right. Shall we resolve mulligans?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to keep this hand. It's really good.
Mulliganing.
It's really good.
You're gonna mulligan?
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
This play draw business.
Yeah.
It's big in all Magic. It's real big in Legacy.
So, friendly reminder, rule number 1 about Legacy.
Is you don't mulligan.
Never mulligan. Yeah.
Yep. The flow chart is, are there 7 cards? If yes, keep.
Yeah.
That's the whole flow chart. I think I've kind of been talked into it.
Yeah.
I'll keep this hand.
You just want to make sure you have the right number of wastelands in your opening hand, and
I have a bit of a catchphrase, and this hand meets it, so I'll stick.
Oh, I know. All right, well, I'm going to not really emulate that catchphrase at all. I'm going to lead with a Tundra, and I'm going to play a turn 1 Delver of Secrets. Call. All right, so now I've got a cool little trick here. I'm gonna actually play Mishra's Bauble, and I'm going to wait until your upkeep to activate this. So I'm gonna move to your upkeep. I'm actually going to target myself here to see the top card of my deck.
Wait, does his bauble resolve?
It does.
Okay,
Oh.
you're rushing through
That's
it there.
true, right, yeah. And you may continue with your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna draw for my turn.
That is a neat trick.
Yep, the trick hasn't paid off yet, but I see what you're going for.
Dividends.
I'm going to play a Scalding Tarn, and I'm going to sacrifice it for a basic island.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Basics are good.
They're steady. When your opponent has Delver of Secrets on the play, as we saw last round, some bad stuff can happen if you go for non-basic lands.
Look, still too soon, man.
The old Life from Below Mana Dork hand, can't play a spell. I'm going to cast Ponder.
I allow it.
I'll keep any hand with Island and Ponder in it.
I respect that a lot too. Okay.
I'll leave the Ponder on top, and I'll draw a card. And that's the end of my turn.
All right, well, moving to my upkeep, I've got 2 triggers. The first is the Mishra's Bauble from the prior turn, and the Delver of Secrets. Since I know the top card of my library, I'm actually going to stack it so that I draw this card first because I know it's not going to flip the Delver. And now I'm going to use the next card to see if the Delver flips. It flips to a Daze. So, we have Caw, an Insectile Aberration. And I'm going to draw for my turn.
Cool trick.
Yeah.
It worked.
Jeff Goldblum is online.
All right, well,
Do you kids get that reference? Do you get
we do.
that reference?
I didn't want to say anything, but
Bloody did not get the reference. She was too young.
I also don't get the
You don't get. Jeff Goldblum was the Fly.
In Independence Day.
I am so old.
Well, I've got some new here, so I'm actually gonna go play Volcanic Island, and this is a really cool card that I'm a huge fan of. It's about to do something dastardly. I'm actually gonna cast 4th Airlingas for X equals 0. So now for Wrath, now for Ruin, right? Yeah.
I hate this so much.
Yeah, this is really good. So does this resolve?
It does.
Cool.
You have a Daze in your hand.
I do.
Even if I wanted to object to this, I can't in good faith.
So what 4th Airlingas does is X red and a white for a sorcery. It says create X 2/2 red human knight creatures with trample and haste. Well, I'm making no tokens here, but the second ability is actually really powerful. It says when 1 or more creatures you control deals combat to 1 or more players this turn, you become the monarch. And so while I don't have tokens here, I do have a creature in play, and yeah, Delver of Secrets is gonna come into the red zone now, swing for 3.
I have to accept. I'm at 16.
Stop.
I am the monarch. You may call me king.
Your Majesty.
Well, I'm gonna move to my end step, and I'm going to draw a card for the monarch. All right.
I'll start my turn. I'm having a bad time. Just want you to know that.
With an island and a ponder? How is that possible?
I know.
It's gonna get worse.
Yeah, the only thing you can really do against Delver is hope they run out of cards, and now that's never gonna happen.
Yep.
I'm gonna use a Flooded Strand and sacrifice it for a basic Plains.
They told me Coval was basic. I didn't know this is what they meant.
What is it? Basic Island Ponder Keep, something like that. I love that.
Island Ponder Keep.
Oh, yeah.
Literally buy a shirt that says that from.
Literally, I would. That is a mantra to die by. I love it.
Absolutely. That's my Eat, Pray, Love. I've got a Staff of the Storyteller.
Well, you know about this Daze in my hand. I don't think that things are going to get really better here. So I'm actually going to cast Daze, so it's 1 and a blue. I can return an island instead of paying the cost here. And I'm going to go ahead and bounce this Volcanic Island to my hand. You can pay 1, but if you don't, your spell gets countered.
I don't have that.
As I see, I set myself up there. That was pretty good.
A true commander player would just say, do you pay the 1 though?
Okay, yeah.
All right, well, I can't pay the 1. My Staff of the Storyteller, that would have been pretty cool. I'm not even gonna read it. It's just gone.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see another one later.
All right.
That's the end of my turn.
All right, well, untap, upkeep, and draw. Okay, well, things are about to get kind of heated here. So first things first is, you know what? Just in case, I will play Volcanic Island. I will swing for another 3 points.
I go to 12.
All right, and this is another really powerful card. We're gonna go ahead and play Dragon's Rage Channeler. This is a red 1/1 human shaman. Whenever I cast a non-creature spell, like this Ponder that I'm about to cast, I get to surveil 1. Ponder's on the stack, trigger resolves.
Trigger resolves.
We are going to go ahead and put a Murktide Regent into the graveyard. This also has the Delirium, so when I have 4 distinct card types, artifact, sorcery, instant, creature, this gets +2/+2, so it is a 3/3 that must attack every turn.
And flying.
And flying, that's also true. Ponder?
Resolves.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, you know, oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna draw for the Ponder, and I'm gonna move to my end step where I get to draw a card.
I see the crown, yeah.
If you do some damage to him, you'll get to wear the crown.
My deck's not very good at that.
Is this more of a control deck?
This is a control deck until it's a combo deck.
Which is basically every combo deck, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see some of that control.
I'm gonna hope for the best here. I'm gonna start my turn with a Brainstorm.
That's good. Brainstorm resolves.
All right, I'm gonna draw 3 cards, and then I'll have to put 2 back.
It's funny because there's no actual like Monarch token, but like having the hat on my head is just
great.
like
That
it's
was
just
a
a
great
continue. Yeah, it's a continuous reminder.
Permanent continuous reminder. Wow, I'm at 12, and you have 6 power in play.
And by my math,
And my clock's running out of time pretty quick here. These 2 cards are back into my deck, and I'll play Urza Saga that we met earlier. Trigger, it learns how to tap for colorless, and I'll pass my turn.
oh no, you have so many cards in your hand. I'm gonna untap and draw for my turn. First thing I'm gonna do, get in the red zone. Here's 6. Punch.
I'm very red. I'm bloody. I'm at 6.
All right.
You're very something else that rhymes with red.
Yes.
Unless you can pull it out. I mean, that'd be really cool.
I'm not dead here completely. I can still win this game.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna try to win this game too. So I'm gonna lead with a Brainstorm, and I'm gonna get my Surveil trigger off the Dragon's Rage Channeler.
That happens.
All right. So we are definitely going to get rid of this Flooded Strand, and then the Brainstorm resolves.
It does.
All right, 1, 2, and 3. This could have been a better Brainstorm, but I am going to put these 2 cards back. Unfortunately, you can't have it all, so I'll put a Mystic Sanctuary into play tapped, and I will pass the turn.
In your end step, I have an effect.
All right, I will also remember to draw a card from the crown.
Before you draw that card,
Before I draw
in
that
response to your Monarch trigger, I'm going to activate the Wizard Cycling ability of Step Through. If this resolves, I can just search my deck for a wizard and put it in my hand.
It resolves, and you get a wizard.
That's cool.
It is. I'm going to choose the Cephalid Illusionist. This is a 1/1 creature for a blue and a colorless. Whenever it's targeted by anything, I mill 3 cards.
Okay, seems honestly by itself not the greatest.
I promise I'm not playing it for the stats.
I'm gonna go ahead and draw my card for the Monarch, and it is your move.
All right, I'll draw for my turn and hope it's a good one. Urza Saga goes up to chapter 2, and I'm gonna play a Tundra for my turn. How many cards are in your hand right now?
100, actually, literally 100 minus 94, but no one's asking. 6, yeah.
Literally 100 minus 94. Got it.
Wait, you were asking. Okay, never mind.
I was. Yes, I genuinely asked.
I feel, am I dead?
I have some options here. I have a slow one and a fast one. I think I just got to go for whatever I got.
Hope you got that force in hand.
I hope so too.
I'm gonna cast Brainstorm.
Brainstorm resolves, yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Not gonna lie, this wasn't what I wanted.
Well, so what's interesting is that you played the Brainstorm after you made your land for the turn, so that Brainstorm lock thing looks like it could be a problem.
It's kind of you to point that out.
Yeah.
I just brainstormed
He's
wrong, and you're
a
rubbing
coverage. He's a coverage guy. That's what he does.
it in. Okay, I'm gonna put these 2 cards back on top of my deck.
Oh, we should have called this episode King of Coverage.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. assuming that things go well that way.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, if they go Bosch's way, he'll be wearing the crown.
That is true, yeah.
All right, I'm going to spend 2 mana for the Petty Theft mode of Brazen Borrower. And I'm going to target Dragon's Rage Channeler. If this resolves, it bounces, returns to your hand the Dragon's Rage Channeler, and then my Brazen Borrower goes on an adventure.
Yeah, that's going to work. Dragon's Rage Channeler comes back to my hand.
All right, Brazen B on an adventure, and I'll pass the turn.
All right, so I'm going to untap. I'm going to draw. First things first, let's swing for 3.
I go to 3 life.
All right, well, I often say that the best Delver players are the ones that have the Bolt. I'm gonna go ahead and play a Ponder,
Yep,
and let's see if we can find it.
take a little dig.
So this isn't exactly Bolt, but I think it's good enough. We don't need to win with too much style here. Ponder, I'm gonna keep these cards. I'll draw the top card, draw the top card, and I'm going to play a Wasteland.
I love that card.
I am starting to see what it's all about. I'm gonna go ahead and play Dragon's Rage Channeler, the one that you sent on an adventure.
Yep.
And that Urza Saga, you know, I was thinking about it. It seems like a sneaky combo piece. So I'm gonna activate my Wasteland, targeting your Urza Saga. Bye-bye.
Good decision.
It is your turn.
May I ask a question out of curiosity? Why did you bounce the Dragon's Rage and not the Delver, which...
Because the It's 3 damage either way. I'm not getting another turn either way. And Dragon's Rage Channeler gets extra value when it's in play and spells are cast. He saw 1 fewer card with that Ponder than he would have if he had Dragon's Rage Channeler in play.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And on my end step, I'm going to draw a card for the Monarch.
Yep.
I almost forgot.
It's hard to forget with the crown on your head.
Yeah. Ask me how many cards I have in my hand, by the way.
I'm not interested. I'm going to draw for my turn. And I'm going to cast a YOLO Miracle Brainstorm. This Brainstorm has to get through the top card of my deck that I know doesn't help. And then the 2 cards under it have to be a land and the other half of my combo. You think I can get there?
So you're saying is that if that brainstorm resolves, I
We've
would
got
lose
a
the game.
chance. Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to let it resolve.
Okay. Here's the bad one.
Woo!
That is the 1 mana combo piece. Can I get the land?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to reveal to you that I wasn't.
Oh!
I'll put these in my hand and we'll
Am
see.
I just dead?
We'll see if we get there. I have to put 2 back. 1.
My hubris? My kingdom?
The last thing you expected to be hoisted by.
Wow.
All right, I'll put these 2 cards back. I'll play Scalding Tarn, activate it, go to 2 life.
You're at 2.
2.
Search my deck for a Tundra.
Well, you're safe from a lightning bolt. I don't have that.
Yeah, you just have 7 other cards in your hand.
All right.
I've
Emotional.
got a Cephalid Illusionist.
Okay. I'm gonna let that resolve.
I've got a Nomad's Encore.
This is where I windmill slam this Force of Will that I've had for a while. I'm gonna take 1, and I'm also gonna get a Surveil trigger. So I'll let the Surveil trigger resolve first.
Yep.
And we do not want another Tundra. All right, Force of Will on the stack.
I will go to 1 life to Force of Will you back, exiling a Force of Will.
The hard force.
I'm at 1.
They don't call me the king for a reason. We've got another Force of Will, paying another life, and a Murktide Regent to counter your stack.
And I've got nothing at all.
Oh.
Good game.
So, just because I have not actually seen this deck in play before, can you explain what your combo would have been had he not had the Force? You would have won if he had not had the Force.
Yes, here's how this works. Cephalid Illusionist, when it's targeted by anything, you mill 3 cards. Nomad's Encore, for 0 mana, you can redirect the next 1 damage that Nomads would take this turn to another creature that you control. I control this creature. I'll redirect the next 1 damage that Nomad would take. It doesn't have to be taking damage, just, you know, if it would.
Yeah.
And that mills 3 cards. Here they go.
Okay.
And then I can do that again.
So So how do you not lose from milling yourself to death?
Once my deck goes to the graveyard, there's Narcomoebas in the deck, which is a creature that if it goes directly from your library to the graveyard, comes into play. There's 3 of those in the deck. There's also 1 copy of Coval Therapy, which is a discard spell that I name a card, and if my opponent has it in their hand, they discard all copies of it. And the flashback cost of this is sacrifice a creature. One of these Narcomoebas will do. This is the 2nd layer. If he was trying to get tricky and let me resolve my combo, and then force me later, this Cabal Therapy would take out all his forces. But he was smart to fight over the important part. And then, once the coast is clear, there is a copy of Thassa's Oracle in the graveyard, and there is a copy of Dread Return.
Oh,
in the
it's
graveyard.
a CEDH deck.
It is. Dread Return returns target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. The flashback cost is sacrifice 3 creatures. I've got plenty of those. And here, my empty library gets checked by this Thassa's Oracle, and that's how I win.
Would have won.
That's how I would have won.
Woohoo! Yeah, nice. I mean, Delver of Secrets is honestly, this deck is really scary. I almost remember you even top 8'd a recently large Legacy tournament with this deck, right?
I recently went completely undefeated through a large Legacy tournament. Okay. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, won the whole thing. Yeah,
Yes.
I feel like this take on Jeskai Delver was kind of cool. But Delver, as we saw in the last match and this one too, is pretty strong when things go its way. But yeah.
And this is what I said on turn 2 when you cast that Monarch spell, 4th Aerolingus. It comes down to, can you run Delver out of cards? And I had the combo, I had the force backup, and you just had 2 forces after drawing 2 cards per turn the entire game.
Right?
Yep.
And I think if you were not the Monarch, I would have stolen that one.
Yeah.
It's good to be the king.
Yeah.
Sure is. Well done, GG's.
GG's, all right.
Yeah, Wasteland's a pretty good card. I think that you should make sure that you have at least 2 Wasteland in your opening hand. It's a really good strategy, and it worked out really well for me.
Pondering into the Wasteland to stop my Urza Saga, which would have given me an extra force of will to fight through his 2. He got pretty lucky there, but gotta hand it to the king.
Do I think I could have won round 3 if I had been on Merfolk? Well, maybe if I was up against Bosh.
All right, so Delver of Secrets on 1, that was nice, but the turn 2 4th Aerlingas, that was where it was really at. I actually think I would have lost without it, but, I mean, did you really expect me not to have it? GG easy.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
Today we're playing a format that we all love and decks that we love. It's I Love Our Commander Day.
I'm D. I love my Rakdos Lord of Riot deck.
Hi, I'm Jesse. My commander is Raph Capuchin, Ship's Mage.
My name is Carmen Handy. This is Sakashima of 1,000 Faces and Tormod the Desecrator.
I am playing with a deck that used to be one of my absolute favorites, Zozu the Punisher.
I'm gonna tap 3. I'm gonna Wheel of Fortune.
I'm really regretting not playing the Soul Ring on turn 1.
What? Oh no!
All right,
You took 9 damage.
Yeah, to play my second land.
Yes.
And then cast my first spell.
listen, the bravest
You did
do
that
it.
before both, they both came out.
I would have done it either way. Do I look like a coward? Don't answer.
The person to blame is right on the sleeve. Boom, boom.
Oh,
There we
that's
go.
so spicy.
There we go.